Welcome to the Passive Income Machine podcast, where we show you how to break free from the grind and achieve real financial freedom in 10 years or less. My name is Ryan D. Lee, and I've helped thousands turn income into cash flow, trade fake money for real assets, and take back control over their time, their wealth, and ultimately their life. Each week, you'll get strategy, tools, and mindset to build your own passive income machine. So my friends, sit back, relax, and enjoy today's episode. All right, my friends. Welcome back to the Passive Income Machine podcast. You are on the microphone today with me, Ryan D. Lee, and today with my BFF, Bob Allen. Bob, you want to say what's up to everybody?
Hi, everybody. Robert Allen here. Me and Ryan are writing a book called A Passive Income Machine.
Let's go.
Passive, you've heard that word a lot. That means money that flows into you without you having to go out and get it. And this is a revolutionary concept that everybody understands, but they don't do. They don't know how to do it. So in this book, we're going to show you exactly how you retire. And money flows into you, and you get to decide when you wake up in the morning, do I want to go out and find more money, or do I want to go find fun, right? So there are a lot of lies, though, that have got us in the place where we get stuck in a job working against a goal that's impossible to achieve.
I tell you what, Bob, I think that was one of the biggest things when we sat down to write this book is we had to really try to dismantle in a concise way the lies that are holding most people back. I mean, there's this collective groupthink in society that if you're going to plan for the future, you do it in a very specific way. And that specific way, even though there's overwhelming evidence that it's not working, that's still what's perpetuated, that's still what people follow, and it's just handed down as this common knowledge from generation to generation, and it's not working.
Yeah, like 75% of the people put their money in the markets, and that's because everybody's doing it, and you got a job, and you put it in a 401k, and your advisor tells you just leave it in there. They tell you that compound interest is really the secret to wealth. And if you just put a little money in there for 40, 50, 60 years, you can compound a little bit of money monthly into a huge amount of money if you have 40 or 50 years to wait. And you don't want to wait 50 years. You don't want to, let's do it in 5, let's do it in 10. We don't want to wait 50 years because look what's happened in our lifetime in the last 10, 15 years. Ups and downs and wild swings all over the place. But when you're in real estate, everybody wakes up in the morning and they know they need a roof over their head, period, end of story. It's the most boring way to make money, and yet it is the way to make money because it's boring, because it's illiquid. Now, this is one of the words. Liquidity is supposed to be really good. I can get my money in and out real fast. Liquidity is dangerous. That's the last thing you want is liquidity. You want real estate, which is illiquid. That means it's hard to sell, it's hard to buy, but when you get in, it's just stable, steady streams of income for the rest of your life. But the words that are floating around, the way everybody talks, they use languaging like diversification and dollar cost averaging, and all these words. You think that just because they use them that they're true. Well, diversification is the last thing you want. They say, well, you're diversified because if you put a little bit of money into lots of little things and a few of those things, go to zero, you have this stable, you want concentration. Even Warren Buffett tells you that. You want to concentrate. Put all of your eggs in one basket. Yeah. And watch that basket.
Watch it like a hawk.
Like a hawk. And so when you hear the word diversification, whoever said that is a liar, because ultimately diversification is the last thing you want. You want concentrated in the right investments over stability over a long period of time. Liquidity, you don't want liquidity. It would be nice if your real estate was liquid, but it isn't. And therefore, one of the good things about real estate is it's hard to find it. And sometimes when people need to sell their real estate and they can't sell it quickly, it's not liquid, then you can sometimes buy a better price because They need to sell. They're what we call highly motivated sellers, and therefore, in creating wealth, I talk about it. Find a highly motivated seller. Well, now we do it slightly differently. We let our turnkey provider, let them go find the highly motivated seller.
Yes.
Let them get their hands dirty fixing up that stupid property. The last thing I want is to fix up a piece of real estate. But if it's all fixed up and it's nice and easily rented out, they rented it for you, you just stay home and collect the cash flow and watch that value increase over, well, 10 years. That's a realistic way for you to retire. 10 years from now.
All right, so Bob, let's attack a couple of these lies head on, because I think this is what there's a saying, the truth will set you free. And most people are constrained because they don't understand the full truth. They're held back by these misperceptions, misunderstandings of what retirement is, what wealth actually is, and how to achieve it. And so the first one I want to attack, and I just want to get your perspective on this, and I've got my perspective as well, but the 401k or the market-based investing. Why is that so prevalent today, and why is that a lie, especially when we constrain the time frame of wanting to retire in 10 years or less?
Well, it's almost like every company sets it up so you have a 401k, and therefore it's just like what everybody does, and that's the problem. What everybody does doesn't take you to financial freedom.
Yeah.
If you look at people who are reaching the quote-unquote retirement age, most of them are broke. Half of them are broke. So there's only a tiny percent of them who are really financially free, and therefore I don't want to play that game. I want to be playing a game where I know I can win.
Yeah, and here's what I've found, man. I've talked to thousands of people over the years. You have as well. And even if someone has, quote unquote, enough money in their 401k, they don't feel free, right? And the reason they don't feel free is they're nervous and they're scared. What's going to happen with the markets?
Yeah.
They've deferred their biggest liability, which is taxes. What's going to happen with taxes?
Right.
And they're worried about all of these things. And so they're scared to spend their money. They're scared to outlive the money that they've accumulated over the last 40 or 50 years. And even if they have enough that mathematically it's highly unlikely they're going to run out of money, they're nervous to do it. And I really believe this comes to the core premise. Many people believe that putting money in a 401k or the market is investing, but it's really not. In my opinion,
it's speculating.
It's speculating.
Yeah,
what's the difference between those two, Bob? Investing and speculating. Those, on the surface, that sounds like two radically different approaches to money.
Yeah. Well, you're speculating because you don't know if somebody's going to drop a nuclear bomb in the middle of New York City tomorrow. And guess what will happen to the marketplace if it did that?
Yeah.
It would your money would be gone, and how long would it take to get it back? And yet, you'd still have to wake up in a home somewhere. You'd still have to make your monthly payments. You still have to have rent, or pay rent, or pay your mortgage payment. So I want something that's stable like that. I want an asset that is so stable that everybody needs it. And the 401k, here's the problem. The problem is they're assuming that if I can make enough money, $2, $3, $4 million, $5 million, and then will the money last if I spend it down? I've got this big chunk pile of money now. Will it last until I die? And that's what they're afraid of. It won't last until I die.
Yeah.
This is exactly the wrong way to think about wealth. You want streams of income that are not only not winding down and declining. You want streams of income that are actually increasing. Mm-hmm. And if you have 10, 20 properties like that, and holding on to them, the income is increasing, not declining. The equity is going up, not declining. It's just that there's two different paths, and the stock market path is the worst way to get to wealth. It's a lie. It really is. The streams of income path that we're telling you about here, it is increasing. Your wealth gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And if you pass it off to your heirs, the wealth even continues to get bigger and bigger, cash flow bigger and bigger for 100 years from now. Yeah. And the stock market, the reason that the stock market languaging is because they are winning. Your investors, your investment advisors, and the companies where you put your money, they win. Even if the market collapses, when they still buy your money every single month, they still make commissions every single month.
All right, so that's another lie then. Let's open that one up, because I think that is a very big misconception. I remember when I put money in a 401k, no one ever gave me a bill. I thought it was free. Are you telling me that it's not free, Bob?
No, no. Well, they're going to take some commissions out of there, and those little commissions they take out compound. That means that 1 or 2% compounds over 40 or 50 years. It turns out to be more money than you make, frankly, when you take off the fees. So they seem to be hidden, but they're terrible. Terrible.
Hey, just slide in here really quick. I hope you're loving the show and taking some serious notes, because everything you're learning right now leads directly to the How to Retire in 10 Years Summit. It's the event of the year. If you're ready to stop dreaming and start living financially free, we have early registration open right now with an exclusive bonus that is too good to pass up. So click the link in the description or just head over to retireintenyears.com and grab your spot, and let's make this year the year that everything changes. Now, back to the show.
Well,
think about this. Like, when is the last time you ever went to buy something that's going to cost a significant amount of money? Think about a home, think about a car, and in order to get it, you don't know how much it costs. I mean, that's really what we're doing with the 401k. We're putting our money in, and there is no bill given to you. It's a hidden fee. You have to look for it, and it's broken down into multiple different sub-fees in the fine print. No one's going to tell you you're being charged anything. But then we have to think about, well, how are those benevolent, wonderful, folks on Wall Street, how are they operating in those big old high-rise towers? Somebody's getting money somewhere.
Yeah.
And so here's the crazy part, Bob. The markets, your financial advisor wins whether you win or lose. Is that what you're saying?
Correct.
So
market goes down. You're still dollar cost averaging. They're still going to suck out $200, $300, $400, $500 out of your bank account every single month. There's going to be a fees that are going to be paid, even if the price of that investment went down that day, and you lost money that day. Your financial advisor still makes money, whether you win or you lose. What kind of game is that?
And they make it off the top.
Exactly, right off the top.
And here's the biggest insidious lie about this compounding fee is maybe it's 1%, maybe it's 2%, but if the market's doing 7, 8, 9%, that's what the market's doing. That's not what you're actually getting. You're getting whatever's left over after, first and foremost, your advisor takes a fee. And here's the crazy part: the second that fee comes out, it's all of the actual cost, but the future compounding that money could have done for you. It's an opportunity cost and a real cost.
Exactly.
And it wipes you out. Now, the other lie that comes pretty built into retirement planning with putting your money in the market is you should put it in the market through an IRA or some form of a tax-deferred vehicle. Where does that lie come from, and how does that disserve people?
Well, it sounds good, frankly. They say, well, you get to not have to pay taxes on it now. We're going to defer the taxes until later. It looks like a great idea but wait till you get to retire, and a big, huge chunk of that compounded wealth that you thought was yours, big chunk of that belongs to the government, and they never tell you that.
They never tell you that. No, and many people don't even know that they're going to be paying taxes in the future. So here's the reality, guys. If you have money in an IRA, I want you to do a little bit of mental math right now. Figure out how much money you've got in your IRA right now, whether it's $50,000, $100,000, $200,000, $1 million. What percentage of that money is actually yours?
Yeah, if you defer the taxes, your government is your hidden, silent partner.
And you don't know how much of the money you actually own, because they're going to tax you whatever the tax rates are, not today, but tomorrow, whenever you get ready to retire. And so even if it is the tax rates today, 20, 30, maybe even 40% of whatever you've accumulated up to this point isn't actually yours. It's waiting to be paid in future taxation.
And here's the lie they tell you. When you get to retire, your income is going to go down, and therefore your tax percentage of your tax bill will be much lower. And basically what we're trying to say is you're going to be dying poverty. You'll have poverty. Your tax rates will be really low when you get to retire. Therefore, the government won't take as much. Well, do you want to retire that way? I want to retire rich.
Yeah.
I want my tax rates, unless they get wiped out, I want my tax rates to pay the most I can pay. And if the government takes a bigger chunk of it, then of that $5 million, and they end up with $2 million of it, I really don't. I'm not really rich like I thought I was. It's all basically a lie.
I mean, it's crazy. Think about what you're saving for to begin with. Why would you ever put money away for the future? We all want the same thing. We want a future stream of income. And if we're deferring our biggest liability to that future stream of income, we're going to, as Bob's talking about, retire poor. And here's one of the biggest things that just blows my mind on this. If we look at the way the government is handling money, right, it's highly likely tax rates are going to go up. But forget tax rates. Let's say tax rates stay the same. Think about the biggest insidious damage to your financial plan. It's going to be inflation, which is a form of taxation, which means every year you're going to have to take more money out of your account just to maintain a certain standard of living. And we might think that the government is adjusting tax rates with inflation, but they're not. They're not keeping up with the rates of inflation, which means inflation will push you into a higher tax bracket.
Totally.
It is impossible to retire in a lower tax bracket unless what you said with Bob is unless you retire poor.
Poor.
And no one wants that. No one wants that.
Don't want that.
You don't believe that. That's not what you want.
Now, here's the lie that I bought into, frankly. When I got started, I wanted to be a millionaire. I wanted net worth. I wanted to have lots of money piled into equities and properties. Then I would sell it, and then I would be able to retire. Well, that's just exactly the lie that you hear about when you're talking about building your net worth through investing in the stock market. They're saying you want to build your net worth to the biggest amount of money, then you're going to spend down the money until there's no money left. I wrote the book on it's called Multiple Streams of Income. I don't talk about equity in here. I don't talk about becoming a millionaire in here. And yet that's how I got started, becoming a millionaire. And yet I should have started right. If I could rewind my life, I would go back. I don't want to be a millionaire. I want to have 10,000, 20,000 passive income cash flow flowing into my life. I don't care about the equity. I just want cash flow because the cash flow is what makes me financially free. And so for many, many years of my life, I was stuck in that false belief about becoming a millionaire. I don't want you to be a millionaire. I want you to be financially free with cash flow, passive income machine.
I love that.
That's what you want.
So there are so many lies that hold us back, and I believe that some of these lies are groupthink. Some of these lies are there. I mean, it's got to be kind of hard in a massive global society to try to make everybody extremely wealthy and extremely financially free. I believe, and for me, you and I, Bob, we kind of went back and forth on this idea. I believe that the Wall Street game, the retirement game, is constrained based on the law of averages. It's really meant for average people who want average income, who hoping for an average retirement. They're shooting for an average return in the stock market, and the best they can hope for is average. And in that world, people celebrate. Wall Street celebrates if you get a little bit above average. If you go a little bit below average, they tell you, hey, just hold on, it's going to come back and you're going to get back to the average. But, when you wrote the book, Creating Wealth, you talked about something that was so outside of the average, retiring in 10 years or less. In order to retire in 10 years or less, what do we have to do with these lies that hold us back? Do we just try to make them better, or do we do something
We
different?
go the exact opposite direction. When you hear words like diversification, you go the opposite, concentration. When you hear liquidity, you go the opposite, illiquidity. Yeah, and we could go point by point by point. We are literally going the exact opposite direction that everybody else, and it's hard because everybody else is saying, well, how much is in your 401k? And you're at the water cooler talking about your money, and you're saying, well, actually, I don't have a single dollar in the market. And they go, are you crazy? Are you out of mind? I have a lot of my money in real estate. Real estate? What happened in 2008? It was wiped out. Are you crazy? What's the matter with you? Don't you wish you'd bought like 20 properties in 2009?
Yeah.
What happened?
It just went through the roof.
It went through the roof, and it's still going through the roof. And so the point is, just you tell me, what are the other things we need to do the exact opposite of?
I mean, it's everything. So I think step number one, and this is how we wrote the book, Passive Income Machine, which is the sequel to Creating Wealth. The first step was to expose the myths, the lies, the misconceptions around money. And it was to help you believe, or at least accept the possibility that in order for you to win with money, you have to understand that the rules of money have changed. That's number one. You have to understand what those new rules are, number two. And then number three, you have to walk away from a game that was never designed to make you win, ever, let alone in 10 years or less. And so the first thing that we encourage people to do in the Passive Income Machine book is walk away from Wall Street. Get your money outside and off of Wall Street.
Off of Wall Street.
That's really hard for people to take that in because that's your entire heredity. Is that, how do you say that word?
Sounds like good to
whatever
me.
it is, that entire word, it's taking all of this groupthink, what you've thought money is, what you've thought the path to retirement is, and doing the exact opposite. That then opens up the gateway to not just doing average things better, but achieving, having the doorway of possibility of retiring in 10 years or less. So it is still safe.
Here's something to go opposite of. So everybody talks about taxes and then deferring taxes and then eventually having to pay your taxes. What if you never paid your taxes?
Well, that's interesting.
Look, don't you hear all the news stories about all the really, really, really rich people where their tax rate is less than the secretary that worked for them? It's like 6%. How did they do that? Well, because they have strategies for not paying taxes, period. It's totally legal. And yet all these people who are in their 401ks are deferring their taxes. The last thing we want is to defer. You want to eliminate. Now, there's got to be legal. It's totally legal. Frankly, this is the secret. Any dollar you borrow, you don't pay taxes on it. So if you refinance your property that's gone up in value, you pull all that money out of your refinance, you don't even have to report it to the IRS. It's totally tax-free.
But Dave Ramsey says to get out of debt. Bob, what do we
Ooh,
do?
no, there's another one. There's another one. Debt is bad.
Debt is bad.
Consumer debt is horrible. Get out of that ASAP. But yeah, rich people use debt to pay no taxes. It's crazy. So like I told you, we're going to go in the exact opposite direction. If you're not willing to follow us, then you can do it the other way. You can retire broke.
Retire broke. Well, my friends, there are some very big lies that are holding you back. And the purpose of this podcast is to expose those lies, and not just to expose them for the sake of exposing them, to help you think differently, to help you understand and engage with the economy, with the new rules of money. Because listen, the reality of it is anyone can win in today's world of money, but you have to raise your financial intelligence first. You have to become smarter. Money is quite literally a tool, and unless you understand how to make it, how to keep it, how to convert it into cash flow, as Bob's talking about, and how to use it as a tool to build and live a life that matters, you will always be constrained and stuck by money. And if we go right back to where this podcast started, if you don't know how you made it, how you've accumulated it, how you've built it up, how it's generating cash flow, even if you have mystically quote unquote enough money, you're never actually free. Because you don't know how to manage it, to perpetuate it, and to pass it on completely with a principle-based approach, using the tax code and using the new rules of money. So, Bob, what final thoughts do you have on the lies that are holding people back and how the truth will set them free?
Just the fact that everybody is marching in one direction, and you literally have to march in the total opposite direction. And if you don't, then you get to end up where everybody else ends up. We want you to end up from this day forward. I want you to imagine where you're going to be 10 years from now. Streams of income from multiple streams of income, multiple properties flowing in, managed by somebody else, so you don't have the hassle of that. Income streams going up and up and up for the rest of your life. Where will you live? What will your life be like? How will it be different? Will it be nice to wake up in the morning and to go, do I want to work today, or do I want to just play today? Well, you probably want to add another house to your portfolio, frankly. Yeah. Go find another one. That's what we're going to tell you how to do. The Passive Income Machine, I think, is a revolutionary book, and looking forward to having you read it when it's out.
There you have it, my friends. If you haven't yet, join the podcast movement, subscribe to the podcast, and join us on the next episode where we're going to be talking about multiple streams of income and ultimately your best investment. All right, my friends, thanks so much for hanging out today. I really appreciate you tuning in. But before you go, if we talked about something today that made you want to take action, you need to get yourself registered for the How to Retire in 10 Years Summit. It's the financial game changer that you've been looking for, teaching you exactly how to create passive income and financial freedom in 2025. Jump on it early because we've got a special bonus waiting for you. All the details are in the link below, or head on over to retireintenyears.com. So get registered, and I'll see you at the summit.